Oh, we're live.
Live.
We're live. Hi, welcome to Talking Trains. I'm John, and this is
Jason
and Michelle.
Right. So, this is a special occasion. Michelle and I have been doing Talking Trains live since over 2 years, but we've never done it in person like this. We're always little boxes on the screen. So, I thought we should do something really special. So I knew that Jason was local, and I reached out to him sometime recently, and he was nice enough to come out here. You might recognize this guy, Jason. It's Jason Jensen from Jensen Trains, and I mean, plug your channel. I mean,
well, thank you both for having me. It's an honor. You both do so much to inspire people and help model railroading. So.
Only this much compared to you, especially when it comes to the inspiration.
And if I want to learn a technique, I pull up Jason Jensen Trains.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, so super glad to have you. You're local here in Greeley, and a lot of people don't know that there's such talent here.
And years ago, I had the pleasure of working on this giant layout. And if you have not seen this layout, it is incredible. It truly is. And I worked with Dave Tressel, who started this entire project in just a very large group of people. And we would all work on this layout for hours and hours every day. So it was very fun.
This was before me. I wasn't around then. I came in when it was done.
See, because people, I think, might get the impression that Michelle is the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, and you are now.
I'm
but
kind
you
of
weren't
the
always.
spokesperson for it now, but I was.
Right?
I did not build it. There's one tree on this layout that I made, and Dave put it in there to be nice to me. Right at the end, he replaced one with my tree, so it's here, and he didn't tell me where. It's just out there.
You were like that. You were like that one kid that everyone felt sorry for, so they put the tree on.
Yeah, he's like, I'll put that tree. Well, we did it for our video. We did a DVD on how he made all the trees.
Oh, yeah,
there's 28,000 trees here, and so we did the video, and that's the first tree and the last tree I've ever made.
So you really put your fingerprint on the layout. One out
Big
of
time with my one tree.
Right? 1 out of 28,000.
I'm excited. In a minute, in a little bit, we're gonna walk around with Jason and see the things that you've worked on, and this will be new to me too, because I honestly don't know everything you've worked on in here. So it's gonna be fun.
And when I was working on it, none of the extra stuff, the different memorabilia or
I call it the decorating.
Yeah, the decorating.
Yeah, the caboose, right? All that stuff.
Some of them are actual exhibits and tell stories, and the rest is just the decorating.
What were the lights?
Stuff everywhere.
I'm curious what the lights were like back then. Was it this already or no?
No, not all of this, but there were pretty bright lights.
Okay.
But there was no carpeting. It was just
it was a concrete room.
With
some holes in the floor that finally got steps in them.
So,
right?
It was like a big warehouse kind of.
Yes.
Or,
Yep.
It's hard to imagine, having not been there for me and having only ever seen it like this. It's hard for me to imagine it looking like that because it's so finished now.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's full.
Yeah. Finished and full.
And there's an entire shop over here where people can shop and buy things.
The gift shop was the workshop.
Yeah.
And my office was the tree making room, right?
Yep.
That's what I've seen pictures of that my office had like shelves of trees.
Yeah.
And they probably fit better than our desks do now.
And it was so well organized. Dave had everything in its place. And when you were done working, everything went back so that if it wasn't you, the next person would know where that stuff was and could start working on it.
Right.
So
cool. I'm excited. Now, I know that you've been making special kits now.
Yes.
I just want to mention it just to ask you about, because I don't know. I've never made a kit. I've never, I don't mean never having built a kit. I built plenty of kits as a kid, just models like airplanes and tanks and ships and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask you about, like, how do you get into making their craftsman kits, really, aren't they?
Yep.
How do you get into that? Like, how do you design all that?
I was that's my favorite part of the hobby is building structures.
Oh, I know.
I've
watched your channel.
Your channel.
Yeah.
And your basement.
So I had worked with a couple manufacturers starting out and sort of learned the ropes from them.
Oh, I see.
And then then went on my own, and still there was way more to learn than what I thought. So, but slowly learning everything, and I shipped my first kit last October.
Okay.
I now have.
I remember. I want to talk about this, about
Sure,
your first kit.
sure.
I got to tell my story about Jason's first kit. So I saw you put it up, and I'm like, Jason's making kits. Oh my God. So I ordered it right away. Was I like in the first day or two, right?
Yep.
So I ordered it, and he shipped it across Greeley to me, right? It's like a 10-minute drive. So I got it in the mail, and I'm all excited, and I opened it up, and I was like, I'm going to build this kit. And then I went, this is Jason Jensen kit number 1. So I got back online, and I ordered another one, and I called him, and I said, Jason, you have to sign it before you send it.
Oh, to get the autographed version.
I got the autographed one,
Yep.
and now it's like my little keepsake. And I'm actually building his first kit. Your instructions are great. Your video is amazing.
Thank you.
Without
Thanks.
the video, I'm not sure that I would succeed just from words, right? I need your video, and it's been wonderful, and I'm almost done with it.
Great.
So,
That's
I only broke
great.
one wall. I was telling him earlier. I put a brace in the wrong place, and to move it broke the wall, but I got it back.
I want to compliment you just on that whole idea of being the guy who made the kit, but also being the guy who shows people how to build the kit the way you would build the kit, which is your whole channel is how you do stuff to make it look so realistic and,
And the video, he's saying, well, you can do this or that depending on how you want it to look, and giving you all the options that you can do with it. And it's just great.
It's a stroke of genius.
Thanks.
Right?
It's such a process, though, to do from beginning to end, from when you first draw a design and by the time it ships. Because
so what's the process? You draw the design, you cut one out and try it?
I'm drawing it in the computer, cutting it out, making sure that walls fit together properly.
Okay.
And then once it's finalized, I have to cut out all the parts and make a video showing how it goes together. And then right after I get it built, I then have to write the instructions.
I was going to say, when do you actually write the instructions then at the end?
Yep.
Yeah.
So then it goes on the website, and there's shipping, and it's quite the process. It really is.
I can imagine.
And it's hard to put together the first one without instructions.
Being the designer,
this is all coming from your head.
Yeah.
Right. And then trying to get that down so that someone can replicate what you've built.
So a lot of times
Someone
people
like
will
me.
see in the video where I'm like, I need to change this. And I actually put that in the video where I'm like, oh, this needs to be changed, or I need to add this to it. And I do. And I explain to people that when they get their kit in the mail, there won't be a problem.
After you see this video, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you've made how many kits now?
7 kits. And then I do all of my detail parts. I 3D print all of them.
Okay.
So.
Well, I want to mention about that too, because this is part of the reason where we're not showing kits. I'm like, oh, buy them. By the way, if you buy one today, you can get it for, no special offers or anything, but because of the labor intensive nature of what you're doing. I don't know that people realize that you're making these yourself with your own 2 hands at your studio, at your house,
in his
right?
studio.
Yep.
So talk about that a little bit, right? I mean, and this is not a prelude to, so if it takes 10 weeks or 10 months to get it, it's not that. It's just, I want to know about the process, because if I order a kit from you, I'm getting something that you've actually done yourself with your own 2 hands, which is kind of cool.
Well, and I'll say on the whole shipping thing that being, I guess, a fan of building structures, I've ordered from every manufacturer out there. So I know the importance of customer service and knowing that feeling of wanting that kit right away. So when you place your order, you don't want to be waiting weeks to get it. We try to ship as fast as we can. It's almost daily, which is crazy, because I know some manufacturers will wait a week, get all the orders, and then at the end of the week, they ship them all up.
Sure. One trip to the post office or whatever, right?
And a lot of times we're shipping daily.
So are you taking them to the post office, or are you pre-shipping labels and your local carrier just hates you now?
Both. But yeah, we do the shipping labels in home.
Right. So you don't have to, so it's all pre-done, and then you can just drop them off, or they can, So you know your mailman really well, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's not exactly the same, but I know though from making DVDs, because I started out with DVDs many years ago. We have some in the shop over here. Like I can see them from here. But I had to do the same thing. And I would have to hand assemble and cut and print and do all of it. And so I had the same, I really do understand what you're talking about. It's not as complex, but I totally get it. So, you know, I don't have to do that as much anymore because people don't really buy a lot of DVDs, at least not from the internet anymore. But
I used to have a craft business.
So you
I
get
made
it,
stuff,
right?
and I hand assembled every single thing.
Right.
And we were talking earlier, and I'm like, no special orders, and what I have is what I have, and we're done.
Yep.
So
Right?
we can really appreciate what you're doing.
So what he's doing is amazing that you're actually getting fast shipping, and he's
But it's so true with special orders because I even get that people want special orders, and I just
it's so hard
don't have
because
the
I don't think
time.
people understand that you're almost consumed with making it daily, right? You have to get the stuff done because they're not the only person ordering. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people ordering your stuff.
Especially having been the person on the other end waiting for a kit from someone. That really makes you cognizant of it's been a week. Where is it? You know, and I just, so my hat goes off to you for sure.
Well, thank you
for what you're doing.
It's such a passion for me though. It really is. I mean, I just enjoy every minute of it.
And I was going to ask you about your passion for trains, but I didn't get to it. He cut me off at the pass.
And it's crazy because my layout at home is very simple. It's 2 dog bone loops. There's no switches because I just like watching trains run through finished scenes. My true passion is building structures and doing scenery work.
Right.
So,
I met a guy who'd had N scale layouts. He was on the Central Coast of California when we did a video last year that was about I forget what it's called now, the Central Coast Railroad Festival or something like that. And he had the same idea. He had like 3 or 4 N scale layouts that had no switches at all. It was just loops and loops and loops of tracks and just hit the scenery that he wanted on it. So I didn't realize that your layout is that simple, if you want to call it that. But the model building and the detail of everything is anything but simple. So, but it's, you know, everybody has a different way to enjoy the hobby.
So. Exactly.
You know, my favorite layout of yours is your science fiction one.
Oh,
just because you're so creative. I'm like, I wonder what that was made out of. Some piece of trash, I'm sure, like some plastic someone was throwing away, and now it looks like this cool Star Wars world.
So I would say in a week, at least 2 weeks, I'll be having sci-fi kits available and sci-fi detail parts.
Kits too?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Oh man.
And it's
That's
1/18
really cool.
scale. So it's the like the Star Wars figures, they're 3 3/4 inch tall. It fits that scale.
What are you going to do when this really takes off?
And then that's going to blow up in the Star Wars world, and we're never going to see Jason again because he's going to be producing Star Wars
get
kits
your
for
autograph
people's
today.
collectibles.
Wait, can you sign this so I can get a tattoo?
Like you made the module one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can totally see collectors buying that to just like that's going to be their displays. If only I'd kept my Star Wars toys from the 80s, right? I had all the original ones.
I definitely kept all my toys.
Did you?
I did. Yep.
Yeah. So
Well,
he has his original ones.
They're making a lot
all
of new Star Wars toys though now.
But that's a whole nother world of modeling, right? The miniature painters and the sci-fi world is huge. The gaming world is huge in modeling. And we're going to lose you from the training world into that.
You know, I haven't even been in business a year, and so many people ask me about N scale and O scale. And I'd like to move into those markets, but I've never built either one of those scales. I've never worked in that scale. So I have to do a little bit of research and
But you can't just turn the computer on and just size that sucker up,
I was
right?
gonna say that,
Just
I mean,
make it little.
I think theoretically it should just be a matter of resizing the drawing, right?
Sure.
I think
Print
that's
bigger
I
or
think in
cut bigger?
theory, but I think when you actually cut stuff out, I think it would be different.
Right, especially
Because the detail is going to be different.
Ordering
right?
material,
Yeah.
ordering some windows, some like corner trim stuff. The wood is going to be a different scale, right? So it's going to be a different size. There's a lot to it. I don't want to get into all of it, but yeah.
Let's give Jason at least 1 year of peace.
I know, right?
We're like, must have in scale.
Or better yet, I have a great idea, knowing how labor intensive and detail intensive all this is. Let's not expect anything other than what he wants to put out. Is that better?
Sure.
Yeah.
Better?
And let's
That's
be
great.
happy with that because we have that.
I'm going to bat for this guy here. Like, I feel for you, man. This is what we have to do.
It's true because modelers are demanding and impatient.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that our hobby? Like that's all hobbies.
And they're they tend to be very critical at times too. Hopefully you don't get that. Hopefully everybody are just fans. Like, oh,
they are fans, but I'm the same way. So I understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you've reviewed. Have you ever counted how many kits you've ever made and like reviewed on your show? Do you know how many other people's kits?
Oh no!
I mean, that's probably thousands.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm sure it's
I've made so many kits.
Yeah,
you've done a lot of videos too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty prolific. I'm pretty prolific on the videos. I think my channel has like 15 or 1600 videos on it now.
Okay.
Now they're not all in-depth 20, 30-minute things, but you know, when you start doing them once a week or twice a week, and then you have a product spotlight once a week plus a feature, you know, now I've been putting up these daily catch things.
You're gonna have to make a playlist of your kit thing videos because I had to really search for mine one time. Just saying.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. How does
Michelle's suggestion of the day? Help me find it.
I want to help people find your channel, so I put a link to Jason's channel in the description of the video. And if you want to, you know, it's just Jason Jensen trains, right? I mean, it's easy enough to find. Now, but do you have a different channel for the sci-fi stuff?
I don't. It's the same.
It's all on the same channel? Okay.
The reason why is because there will be sci-fi trains in that scale too.
That makes sense.
So the layout in my basement, and it's 2 levels.
I really want to see it.
And this is not your full-time job, right? Or is it now?
It is
it
now.
morphing now into your full-time job?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd switched over.
You're not doing the comic stuff anymore?
I have switched over. So for the last 30 years,
tell people, because I don't think everybody knows that. Please.
I've been a freelance artist for the last 30 years, and most of the work was comic book art. But I've worked in the magazine industry. I've done album covers, T-shirts, just a wide variety of art. But this business has it's just growing so fast. I just didn't have time for that anymore.
And you're loving this now.
And I'm just loving it. I'm loving it.
As long as you're having fun, that's the right answer, right?
I love it.
Although I do love your studio. So for those of you that watch the show, I always have those colorful markers over my shoulder, right?
Usually.
His marker collection is like a room.
Yep.
And you're the colorist, right?
Yeah.
And you're a color specialist.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic to see your work. And I'm sorry that you all don't get to see it. It's amazing. You've probably done a video, maybe. Have you ever done one showing your
never
art?
have. No.
Oh, you're gonna have to do that sometime so people can appreciate a layout tour. Well, you've done those. You've done some tours of your layout and the sci-fi one, which is how I had that one at first, and then I had to come to your house and see it, and then
Oh, you got to go see it?
I've been to his house.
Oh yeah.
I'm leaving.
I'll have you over.
But I live here, so.
But will Jason be around this weekend for the YouTube meet and greet?
Oh, the question is, will Jason be around this week for the YouTube meet and greet?
Yes, I will.
Right?
Yes,
we have good news.
The sad news is he's in production. You can't go to his house, but you do get to meet Jason. You're going to come tomorrow night and Friday night.
Yes.
To both of those. So you'll get to meet Jason if you come into the meet and greet. So you guys will see him in all the videos that everybody's making.
I might hit you up for a podcast or something, you know, podcast segment.
Sure.
I get this famous guy. No, but I want to talk about that just real quickly, and then we can show some of the stuff that you worked on this layout, because I think that's also an intriguing topic. But we had a conversation the last time we were here, and I knew that you'd been a colorist. I knew you worked on comic books and well-known comic books.
Yeah.
But you told me the last time we were here about people at like Comic-Con, right? And I alluded to this on a live stream I did a little bit earlier, where I was showing people the run by of the trains that were happening here live, that you'd been to places like Comic-Con and had people waiting for hours to get your autograph.
Yes.
And when you're in a different context, you're just Jason to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you're this rock star of comics because I'm not into comics.
In his other world, he's extremely famous. In this one, he's extremely famous.
We're standing here.
There's just not as many modelers as comic book fans.
I'm standing here with two celebrities. Both of these people.
Just this one.
Yeah. Well, one real.
John's fangirling.
Oh, I'm doing a fangirl move. Wow. No, it's just interesting to me because it is in a different context, right? And I don't know that. So to me, you're just a guy but there are people who would be total fangirls.
And I doubt that your model railroad viewers know this about you. That you
not as many, right?
You know, I was lucky enough to break into the comic book industry in the early 90s when it was exploding. Comic books were just huge. There would be lines wrapped around stores for new releases, say like the death of Superman, stuff like that. That was huge. And I was right in there coloring comic books night and day, just many different titles. And I did a long run on Archie Comics, a bunch of their titles, Sonic the Hedgehog, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Lady Death.
So you're really known for the Lady Death colorings, I think.
Yes.
I think you're probably the most famous artist of Lady Death, for sure.
Did you do these?
And I have friends who are total fans of that. So.
The queen pin and her coil?
Oh, no.
You didn't do that one?
I'm going to walk off camera. It's a joke.
I told you about that last
They were
time.
laughing that I needed my own comic book. Right. And I'm like, well, I know who to call, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah. No. We need a comic book cover or like a movie poster of the queen pin and her coil.
So I got this nickname given to me, the Queen Pin of Ralph Fanning. Like the king,
Kingpin.
Yeah. So
Sure.
now there's,
Yeah.
And they won't let me live it down, but I was called that.
Jennifer.
Oh, I'm sure she is. And I'm going to throw something at all of you pretty soon.
She was getting tired of this the last time when I was out here last month or a month and a half ago, whenever that was, because Nick Valdez down at Royal Gorge said that as we were leaving. He says, wow, Michelle, you're the queen pin of rail fanning or something. And we've been talking
and
about
everybody just like, oh my gosh, that's your new nickname.
it just stuck, right?
And we'd had this long conversation that day about rattlesnakes on the way down there. And so we were talking about, what do you call a bunch of rattlesnakes? And I was telling the story of Rattlesnake Kate. We had this, and so then they decided that, what do you call a group of rattlesnakes? Do you know what you call? Like rattlesnakes hibernate together in the winter. And what do you call that? It's called a coil.
A coil.
And we learned this in the car. This is what we talked about in the car. It's so exciting, right?
Yeah, right.
Between trains.
Yeah, people watching think, like Chasing Trains is all about the trains, and it's just about
a bunch of stupid conversation in the car. And
I'm
like, call a group of rattlesnakes. Like that comes out of my mouth, right?
Like, how does that even happen? What random thoughts of bizarreness are we going to have?
So they decided that I would be the queen pin and it should be a comic. That's what all that. So
I even made a logo that I sent to her this past week.
And I completely ignored it.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
it's funny.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug. The Chasing Trains episode that all this weird stuff is on, I think, is coming out this Saturday. So like the day after tomorrow. The Chasing Trains episode. It's either that or it's the Royal Gorge video. I don't remember which one. So sorry. We're on. We just went down a real.
That was a rabbit hole of rattlesnakes.
No, it was a snake den. So we have to learn about the stuff you did on the layout or some of the stuff. And I have a phone here that I'm going to be using as a secondary camera. So as Jason's pointing stuff out to us, our amazing secret producer is going to switch to the phone so we can actually see what he's showing us.
Will that pick up the sound?
It will not. So I was just going to mention that.
Okay.
We're going to still be taking the sound over here.
Okay.
And so try to talk in that direction while you're pointing at stuff.
Sure.
And I'll try to show people whatever you're trying to show.
Okay. And I'm going to learn a lot.
Yeah. So now what Michelle's going to do, she's going to make a note in her brain about which stuff you worked on. So when people come to visit, she's going to say, the world's famous Jason Jensen worked on that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's awesome.
You're trying to gain customers here, not push them away.
Now I'll have something for the comic book fans to get drug in here, right? I'll be like, Jason Jensen. This is what he did here.
Yeah, the Comic-Con goers. Yeah. So what I'm also going to ask our top secret producer to do is, as we move, try to keep up with us with the microphone on the cart there. So
All right.
I already
Let's
know
jump
where
through
the
this.
first one
and
is.
I don't. I wasn't
Yeah.
And I'm
here.
going to look over my shoulder.
The clouds.
So I painted the clouds on the wall here, and we put plywood up on the layout, and I was actually up there, laying up there, painting the clouds. So
this was a photograph, right?
yes,
Is it printed on fabric or is it printed on a paper?
It's printed on a paper.
Canvas or a
Yep, and you might be able to see there's a line.
Yeah, you can see the
where
seam.
the print goes, and so I put clouds on the print, and then also above it, so that everything's blended together.
Can you hear him?
So
Are people able to hear him okay?
I don't know if they can hear.
They haven't sent their camera. So.
Okay. If anybody has trouble hearing, let us know and we'll do our best to address that.
So did you do the whole section of clouds?
I
It's
did.
full,
I did.
or-
Yep, all the way around. And again, we covered the rail because all the track had been laid, and so
But no buildings yet.
yeah, no buildings, nothing up here, and so we covered it so that I could lay up there and do all the painting.
So you were actually on your stomach lying down across where this lumber
Yes.
yard is?
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah. Yep.
That's fantastic.
Cool.
Did you do other clouds in the building too? Or these?
Just on this.
Just this one?
Someone else
Okay.
did
I
the
think
rest
Joe
of the
Kuzai
clouds.
was her name. that
Yeah,
did a lot
yep,
of that.
yep.
Okay.
So
That's awesome. I had no idea.
great. Okay, well,
I
I
had
guess
no
we'll.
idea.
Oh, it's this one. It's this one, right? Oh, she
This
just
one.
switched.
I had
it.
no
Yeah.
idea. That's fantastic.
Go look at some more.
Yeah, let's
go look.
roll around to the next one. So here, we'll just stay on the camera and follow folks around. Sure. She'll be here in a second. No, there she is.
Great.
All right then.
So I did some work up here in the logging camp, and these are all real sticks that are up here. And again, it was kind of difficult working up here because of the height. I'm standing up on a raised area on the floor, but it's still pretty tall. So
Was this? I don't know that the step was even here then. Was it?
You-
probably
no.
You had to go from the actual floor and not our built step that
yes,
came in later.
yeah, there were ladders, and I don't know if you've seen the
The
ladders.
the red thing
Yeah,
you lay on, the
yeah.
creeper?
Yeah, the creeper,
Is that
yes.
what they're called?
Yep.
They didn't
So-
name that because you were on it, did they?
Right.
I don't know why they call them creepers. They're like from the auto industry,
Yeah.
right? That a lot of modelers have them.
So I have a question about
Sure.
the logs themselves, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask it just in case anybody watching has this question too, which is when you stack them like that, you have to glue them down, right? Because otherwise they would just flop around and fall
Yes.
off.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
they
what I
all have
thought.
to be glued in place.
So you're gluing each one, so it's a
Yeah.
big pile together.
Yep, definitely.
So you did the log.
But yeah, like imagine doing the plaster work up here and
Mm-hmm.
then having to stain all that and add vegetation and trees. It's just so impressive. It really is.
Now, one of the most impressive things I think when I visit the layout is just two things. One, the fact of how big it is.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the fact that it's finished, right?
Yeah.
And
it's-
nicely done.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Complete.
a nicely
Yep.
finished, high quality work,
Yeah.
right? So
And you know, that was so important to Dave, who designed this and started this project, is that the grand opening, he wanted everything to be done, at least the layout. And that was so important to him.
Yeah, I've heard
So-
that. And he wanted. I've heard from people like who've worked on the track work. Dave wanted reliable running trains.
Yep.
He wanted a layout that the trains would just glide, right? And
Yep.
the scenery was done, and you were in a world, and it was complete.
Yeah.
it's like that whole sort of saying that people say about model railroading at all, which is if it doesn't work, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you had a museum, especially at a museum,
Yeah.
if it didn't work and the trains were derailing and there were problems and
Right.
they had to stop
Yep.
all the time, that wouldn't be fun.
That wouldn't
Yeah.
be fun,
Yeah.
right?
He didn't want people showing up and seeing stuff under construction or complete areas that weren't even completed yet.
Right.
So,
And I've
very
often been
important.
asked, how did he actually get it done? Because people start running trains, right? They didn't run trains until it was done. They would test a few things here and there, but
Yep.
nobody played till it was done.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of
And that's
sense.
how it got done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So let me show you over here.
okay.
Boy, it's a good thing I had practice doing this with Bernard last month. We went around the whole layout with him and his gimbal.
So I did a lot of work in this area with the all the dirt road and putting in structures here, crossings.
Are those Quonset huts something that you also worked on, or do you remember?
I don't think I worked on them. Someone else built them,
Mhm.
but I believe I put those in place and put like weeds around them and detailed it.
It's a cool scene too because it has a lot of what people often refer to as clutter. You know,
Mhm,
little things
yeah.
that you'd find in real
Yep.
life, just stuff up against the building, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Right on.
It was a lot of fun putting in the crossings, and you'll see even down here.
Uh-huh.
There's a bunch on the layout, the wood crossings.
Did you build those out of wood just like you would do something on your own layout?
Yep.
Did you do all the crossings in this? Like
Not all of them.
just
But
this area?
yeah.
Okay.
It was such a group effort. So many people worked on this. And if there were days that you couldn't be here, then someone else would pick up the work. Just so many talented people worked on this layout. Just incredible.
Cool.
Including you.
Before he was comic book famous.
Yeah.
Was it before you
Yeah.
were comic book famous?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Are there other places?
Now
Yeah.
I'll mention this quick. I don't know if you're able to see this, but so there was scaffolding that was built, and then they would mix plaster on the ground and hand it up to people and put it in place. It was
I've never seen a photo of that.
it was incredible to see them and how
I'm going to
Still
fast.
store the
Yeah.
plaster right here. Does that help?
Incredible to see how fast they worked, and they just kept mixing plaster, passing it up to people, and putting it all in place. And then Dave stained all of the rocks. He had all different colors in spray bottles, and everything was stained. So the colors are just really incredible on this. Oh, molds.
Oh,
yeah, check
yeah,
that
molds
out.
are-
This
Yeah.
would be one that would have been handed up there.
Yeah. Yep.
Does
Can
that
you
look
see?
familiar?
Yeah, I mean, you can find it, and this is one that you can often kind of find
Yep.
this shapes where there'd be like a little rock out.
So imagine being down here, someone mixing plaster, pouring it in here, and then we'd have to let them set up for a little while. You couldn't just, it was too wet to put on there directly. So you'd just be laying out all these rubber molds with plaster, letting them set up a little bit. And then you'd have to hand them up to people to get them all the way to the top and then put them in place.
And then hold them, right?
Yeah, and then hold it
And
in
then
place.
hold it there?
Yeah.
I heard
Yep.
this mountain took 6 months.
It was a lot of work.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have a whole box of these that I
Cool.
bring them out
Wow.
so people can see, because they always ask how that's made.
Yep.
And,
And I
so
believe Dave made a lot of them.
you can tell the ones
himself.
he did because they have the black in them from the coal.
Yeah. Yep. He
So
made them
across-
from real coal.
Across the tracks is Kaiser coal, and he would give Dave really big chunks of coal, and he would carve the surface he wanted and pour 3 molds. And then he would change the surface, and then he would get it down till it's just like a little tiny golf ball of coal in the end. And we probably have over 400 molds, I think,
Wow.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
it's kind of fun
Yep.
how it was done. But yeah, you can tell on them. So yeah. Yeah, they all had numbers too. So okay, where are we going now?
All right.
Yeah. We're gonna go
We're
that
gonna go
way.
this way.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll follow
here we
you
go.
guys.
I'll put these back.
Oh, we have to go back.
We're going that way. Okay.
It's hard because we jumped around a lot.
This phone will go up to the top where you were showing me that. Okay. I might even have to put it on over here too. Sure. Show me again where you're going with this area.
Just doing more plaster work.
Okay. I think she can get close enough to hear us. You know, so just talk loud.
Okay. So this is another area that we worked in, doing all the plaster. And as you can see, it goes back really far. So in the center there, that was all, it was not there. It was open. You could stand in there until we had to start from the back and put plaster up and then just work our way forward. And then the last step would be to put the center in and all the trees in there. So
I think one of the most underlooked at pieces of rock we have is that cliff back there. I don't think
Yeah.
people, honestly, I never notice it.
Yep.
I never look at it as the cliff that it is and the plaster work that it is in that whole area. We just kind of look over it because we're looking at this bridge, right?
yeah, yep.
So,
I'll give people a better look at it then.
and when I first started here, there was a dinosaur in the middle.
Oh,
And we could not get that thing out to move it because they're supposed to move, and it took forever. There's actually a cutout somewhere in there that pops up,
yeah.
and that's how we got out. But see, this one's still open, and that one's still open.
Yep.
But he closed this one up and scenic it. That's interesting. So you did the same process with the plaster.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
I have pictures. I have a photo of them at home, and I'll have to bring it
Yeah, you'll
in
have to share that.
of
and I'll
me
scan them.
standing
In
with,
there?
with plaster. I'm
I'd
out
love to
here
see that.
actually, and this is all white plaster at the time.
And I've never seen that about this part of the land.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I believe that Dave Trussell built all of the bridges, all of the wood bridges.
He
He
did.
built them himself.
He built them all himself.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, and this one was kind of the largest one. Now, again, the OC&E, I thought had bridges like this.
Oh, the OC&E never had any.
Until
bridges
I
like
went
that,
to
did
Oregon
they?
and saw the
Yeah.
3 bridges of the OC&E that are about
Yeah.
this high off the cow field. But this is beautiful, and I'm glad we have it because
Yeah.
the photography here is phenomenal.
Yes. Yep.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So the last one requires a little bit of maneuvering. We can't take our main
Your
camera
sound.
up there, so the sound's going to have to come off of this camera. I'm going to try to turn it on myself. Oh, it worked. Can you mute?
Got it.
All right. Is it ready?
Mhm.
Okay. So that area that we're at up there is we used real dirt and real rocks. I believe that all of the dirt and rocks on the layout are all real.
They're real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just a fun area to work in. And you'll notice there's a raised area where the cars go to get the logs.
It's log loadout number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And then you did the crossing up there.
Yes. Yep.
And I was telling Jason that that's one of our most photographed areas that we use for marketing because we can get so close
Oh, cool.
to the train and you see the logging piece and
Yeah.
it's a good place to photograph the layout.
Nice.
So nicely done, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were kind of all over the layout.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, it was just such a huge group of people that worked on this, and to have it all blend together, they were all just so talented.
Yeah.
So
And one of the things that really made it work, and I wasn't here for it, but I've heard Dave was called the benevolent dictator. He had the way he wanted it done,
yep.
right? And he was willing to let people put their own art in it. But in the end, it would be what he wanted. But he
Yes.
was really nice about it.
He was. He was.
Right?
And-
So
Yeah. And he would show people how to do his technique and make it look the way he wanted. And then once you got it down,
then he would let you go.
Yeah.
I've
Yep.
heard a story about him wanting the trees just right because Dave's
Yeah.
about the scenery. He's the artist, right?
Yes,
But
yeah.
and some of the guys called his wife and said, "Will you tell Dave he has to let us play too? We want to plant a tree on this layout." And there's just the story about that.
Yep.
So, but you can tell that his art is everywhere.
Yeah.
But he
Yep.
assembled a really talented group of people
He really did. He
to
really
do
did.
this. You weren't
Yeah.
involved in the traveling layout prior to this,
Yeah, no,
right?
I wasn't. Nope.
How did you find this place?
I had belonged to the Northern Colorado Model Railroad
Okay.
Club.
Yeah, and you had a big meeting here, right?
Yeah,
Early
yep.
on.
Yep. And
Okay.
so a bunch of people told Dave about my layout at my house. And so Dave and a bunch of guys came over one day during their lunch break here working. And Dave loved what he saw. And he asked me if I would come over and work on the layout.
Because he's
So-
a smart man. Yes. And then you
So-
also, so after you worked on all this, then that's when you worked on Peter Miller's layout, right?
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
Peter came in, and I didn't even know Peter, but he came in, saw the layout, and said that he wanted something similar in his basement. And he asked Dave if he knew anyone that would be willing to take on such a big project. And so Dave was nice enough to give him my name and number. And so Peter called me, and we set up a meeting, and him and his wife came over to my house to see my layout. And they loved it, and he wanted a giant layout built in his basement. So I took on that project.
And John and Sydney, TSG has a video about this.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
they came out and visited,
Yeah.
we all went over there and filmed that, which is
Yeah.
good that we recorded it. So
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
It's
It's all
good.
gone now, isn't it?
It is.
fully taken out.
it's all taken
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Mhm. Everything has a new home.
Yeah. Somebody bought it.
Somebody bought the layout. They're taking it home with them and putting
And
it in the tub.
they cut it up and removed it from the basement, and they're putting it together somewhere else.
Yeah. So it has another life.
Good.
Yep.
Well, it's like I was talking about earlier. We should probably head back to our original position down there where the table was.
Sure.
My arms.
Sure. Are your arms tied? John holding the camera like way
They're not-
high in the
They're
air.
not
I think
completely
we should
dead
talk here
yet.
for another 30 minutes. Then.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
just
gonna go
kidding.
to the other area where we were.
Okay, we'll get back over there. I moved our
And then-
table. I'll put it back.
I'll mention and go ahead, and I'll mention what I was going to mention when we get over there,
Okay.
because I think it's a cool topic to mention to
Sure.
talk about. So I'll follow them over there.
You've done videos on this layout, correct?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's a full video layout tour of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum that I did it's on this channel.
So we're backing original place. I had moved the table so she could get by. So I had to put it
Right. So I'll just wait until the camera's repositioned and
over there.
ready to go.
And we're back on the nightly news. Didn't that feel like that pause, like that long
Right,
pause?
yeah.
Sorry,
But
I had to do that.
You should be doing the weather.
Yeah. So the weather
You're the
this
weather
weekend,
chick.
it finally stopped raining in Greeley. We had 2 consecutive days of rain, which is so weird.
It really is. It's
Was it
unlike-
not weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. it
I don't
was-
think people realize how dry it is in Colorado. But
Yeah,
it's
we're a high
very
desert.
dry.
We're the
Yeah.
high desert.
Yep.
And so we have 350 days of sunshine, and when we get rain, it's 20 minutes and gone. Right?
It happened last night.
Yeah,
it-
exactly. Those little storms, like that's normal. The
Mhm.
the days of rain, that was terrible.
But it's been raining for days on and off.
Yeah.
And just-
So we're ready for some
But-
sunshine in
yeah.
Colorado.
Maybe we'll have it for the amazing meet and greet weekend.
So the
Yeah.
meet and greet weekend
Yep.
is going to be fantastic.
So I want to mention something that you mentioned about Peter Miller's layout
yeah.
having been sold to somebody, and it found a new home,
Yep.
and it probably found a good home because
Mhm.
nobody would buy that unless they really wanted it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I was talking earlier about how just because a model gets used, and in this case, it's going to be a juxtaposition of what I'm going to say. It got used and it found a new home.
Mhm.
It's not always a horrible thing for a model to not find a new home,
Sure.
because the joy was in the use of it from the original owner.
That's right.
So
So-
I have that conversation almost every day here.
Oh, really?
Because what happens here at the museum is people come in and they have grandpa's trains,
Oh,
right? And they want to give them to us. And a lot of times they're Lionel, and things we won't use on this layout. But what we tell them, and this is my honest, I have to tell you what we're going to do. The first filter is that if we can use it, we will. If it's an artifact, and we'll keep it. If it can be used in youth programs, that's the third filter. Otherwise, we're going to sell it, and it will run on someone else's layout.
Yes.
So it's not like it just goes to the dead locomotive pile. It will live again.
Yep.
And people like that because they
Mhm.
like that thought of grandpa's train running somewhere.
Yeah.
sure.
And like you said, it's kind of like that the silver lining, right? Is that someone else is going to enjoy it.
Yep.
And that's how come our Rocky Mountain Train Show booth is so full of donated items, and they find homes there, right?
Yeah.
And raises money for the museum and gives
Yep.
them a second life.
Well, I agree.
So-
I'm sure someday my layout will be cut up and sold off. But my joy was building it and
Mhm.
filming it and sharing all the
Right.
techniques with everyone on YouTube.
Right.
Right. And that's really what I'm talking about. is that
Yeah.
the joy of the hobby came from the original use.
Yep.
Right.
So-
And then there's those modelers that, like, just like you, the joy is in the building. And when it's done, they'll tear it out and start over. And
Yes.
we're all like, are you crazy? You
Yeah.
just finished it. And that's what they're going to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it's not unusual. As a matter of fact,
Sure.
I just finished editing a piece about actually a fairly well-known modeler from my area named Mike Schwab. People know Mike Schwab because he did a lot of articles for the Narrow Gauge and Short Line Gazette, which has
Okay.
been a modeling, staple
Yeah,
for
yeah.
for decades now. And that's what he did. He
Yeah.
would build something, he'd get bored with it, and all his friends were like, "No, you can't, you can't take that out." But they knew he was a builder.
Yeah.
And,
So-
and if that's where your joy is.
Yep.
Absolutely. And he would
That's the joy.
change scales. He would change everything. And
Sure.
just the joy was in the building.
And then
Yep.
there's people
So-
like me who are like, oh, you're getting rid of it? I'd be happy to take that off your hands, Jason. You just let me know.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are those of us that need those things too.
Yeah.
So it's all a circle.
Although I think someone though it's unusual because not everybody who makes models as well as you do has a YouTube channel and is well known in other circles as an artist, right? As a
Mhm.
talented artist. You really could, if you wanted to, you could sell it, auction it,
Yeah.
and use that
Oh,
to
sure.
fund the next one,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
and
Find
that's
your
a,
next layout.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great
Or a
one.
really great vacation for your wife.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great idea. I'll go too.
I'll tell her I said it too, on the air.
Yeah, you'll have enough money. I'll go.
Right.
I'll carry your suitcase.
We want Jason to have a happy life so he continues to make
Yes.
kids.
I
He has
just
a
want to
great
go
life.
with him on the vacation.
But it's true because I just love being creative. Just have that urge and need to be creative. I actually knew in the 2nd grade that I wanted to be a full-time artist.
Wow.
In the 2nd grade.
Wow.
How many people even get to find what they like,
Yeah.
let alone
That
know?
you figure it out,
Yep.
and you figured
Right?
it out early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you actually
So-
do your studies through high school with all that too?
Yep,
Do art
I did.
And do,
Yep.
gosh, in today's schools, you would have had a whole
So,
track, like
yeah.
a career path, right? Like they do.
Do they have Common Core art? Is it different where red isn't actually red, or you have to mix the color a different way? Like if you don't put this in first, it's not right. Right?
I
Common Core
imagine you
art.
grew up with
yeah.
arts classes like we did, where you actually hear some clay,
Yeah.
do something, right?
Yeah. Okay, here's a ball. Right?
Yeah.
Make something. I loved art classes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little bit creative, but mine was more crafting, right?
Okay,
like
yeah.
I like to color things. I do cards and I'm really good at gluing.
You're good at gluing your fingers
I'm good at
together and
gluing
your
my
eyelids
fingers
shut.
together.
Yeah.
But everything that I made was either painted or I built it or sewed it, right?
Yeah.
But I was creating something. So I understand that, wanting to create.
I do it.
The funnest part for me now has been sharing it with everyone on YouTube. And I never really knew that, because for 30 years, I was just in my studio by myself doing art, creating things, even doing modeling.
Mhm.
And then I finally got onto Facebook and started photographing all my work. But then YouTube just took it to a whole nother level. And to be able to share it with everyone and share all my different techniques.
You're a really good teacher, though. Like you're
Well,
a good
thank you.
YouTube
Thank you.
teacher. You take the time. If I was teaching, you'd be like, "Okay, did you get that? We went really fast." But
And I don't
you're
have
actually a
any
good teacher.
secrets. There's never a fear of somebody then taking my technique and doing it better than me and starting a YouTube channel. And
You have no fear of competition, do you?
not at all, because I'm
Right.
just sharing. I'm hoping that I want to see people succeed and do better in the hobby, because then the hobby grows.
Yes.
Right.
It ensures life of the hobby.
Yes.
Right.
That means there'll be more people to buy your kits.
That's right.
But that's not your motivation either.
Yeah.
I think
No.
you're just being kind to us and making kits. You could
Yeah.
honestly just make your own kit and not share them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question.
Chat wants to know how you could possibly have been an artist for 30 years since you only look like you're 30.
I know, huh?
Oh,
He
the
does only
question-
look 30.
Okay. So
Well, let's say question.
no.
Oh, it's okay.
Nobody knows this because I've never shared it. But next month in June, I will be 53 years old.
I just turned 50.
Okay.
And I told the world I was in October, and I'm like, I'm turning 50. I made it this far. I'm excited. Like, I'm still here. It's exciting.
I think I'm turning 55 this year.
Right?
But I look like it though. What is this? Oh, I can
So,
this is the very happy thing for me about turning 55 is that I will now be able to order off the Denny's menu
officially a
on the
senior.
back.
You're officially a senior.
I'll be a senior according to Denny's.
Oh, we have a magazine here called the 50 Plus Marketplace News, and I was like, I'm a senior. Sweet.
We've been getting AARP stuff for a number of years now, so you've really made it into.
Well, credit goes to my dad, because my dad is 83 and he looks like he just turned 60. So
Oh,
yeah, it's just
You got good genes.
yeah.
got lucky.
And I think art's good for you. You're not out in the sun, and you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
it's a different kind of work.
Yeah.
So you can be healthier.
Yep. Yeah, the sun, not to get on a whole nother topic, but the sun will age you fast.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And I hike a lot, so that's my excuse.
I live in a basement, so
Yeah, right. You're like a cave dweller. Yeah. I was going to say though, something that you said, and it's in common, I think, with a lot of the people that I've met doing what I do. I've met a lot of really, really good craftspeople.
mhm.
I've documented layouts like this, but in homes where the people have done it themselves.
Yeah.
And the people that I've met, almost all of them are the same way. They want to share it. And they want to make sure that there are no secrets. One of the great
Yeah.
things, one of the great comments I think that someone told me about one of the people that I did a bunch of videos with was that I love him because there are no secrets with him. Like if you ask him how he did something, he
will
is
tell
more
you.
than happy to tell
Yep.
you.
It's true.
And that's Jack
And you guys
Burgess.
are all friends,
Okay.
right? You're
Yeah.
friends with all the other craftsmen
Yeah.
builders.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys are all like one big happy family.
Yep. Yeah.
I think that's great.
I
You
do
know?
too.
Yep.
I do too.
And it's like this, well, with this guy that I was just talking
With
about a minute
Jack.
ago.
Yeah.
Not Jack.
Oh, the other one.
The other one that was Mike Schwab. All of his friends, they all do the same level of building,
Yeah.
and they're amazing, and they will always share it with you.
This
love
is such a great time to be in the hobby.
Yeah.
Sure it
With
is.
all the
That's true.
tools and technology that's available and YouTube videos.
You can have a cutter in your home now,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like when
Or
was that
a 3D
available in the
printer,
past,
yep.
right? Or a 3D printer in your
Yeah.
home, and
Yep.
you can do this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Sky's
our
the limit.
libraries have them now,
Yeah.
right? They really just opened this amazing library, 3 giant laser cutters. Have
Looks
you
like a
seen that
maker's
yet?
Oh,
space.
no.
And the link. Oh, I can see Jason's
Wow,
going to take it
yeah.
over and like doing his kits in there.
Yeah.
Oh, why not? I mean, it's a public resource. Hey, now.
They have 3 big laser printers too. Or I'm sorry, 3D printer things.
But it's
sitting
so
there.
exciting because when I was modeling as a teenager or even before that as a kid, it was so limited on what you could do.
Yeah.
And all you had were magazines to look at.
Uh-huh.
And
Or like Monogram and Revell and those kits, right?
yeah. So, but now it's a whole nother level.
It's a scratch builder's paradise.
Yes.
Yeah, it is because you can build anything. Like the
Yep.
little shed, your very first kit. It's a little shed with Operation Lifesaver on it. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like it's a little.
yep.
It's got a message,
Yep.
right? A safety message
Yeah.
in your kit, and
Yep.
I love it. It's such a
Well,
cute
thank
little
you.
kit.
That kit
I'm so
just
excited.
sells all the time.
And you gave us 2 of
over.
them.
Yeah.
I mean, not only was he generous enough to make a kit, he gave us two buildings in that kit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm really gonna leave now because you got the kit layout and you got kits from them. I got nothing. Wow. I feel so
Oh,
abused
John.
right now.
Ordering a kit.
No.
Sydney's ordering a kit.
Of course, I'm only kidding, but not kidding. But I wanted to make sure that people in the audience, I know we've been getting random questions
I
thrown
know,
at us.
we
on
can't
and
see
off.
them when we're not like at our
Yeah.
trains and stuff. So,
So-
just I don't know, Sydney, if there's questions.
Yeah, if there are any other questions, because we can probably wrap up here pretty soon. Standing up like this is a lot harder than sitting.
Been
doing
sitting in
this,
our computers in our
right? In
basement.
our nice chairs. Yeah.
It's crazy how many questions I get daily
Mhm.
from Instagram, Facebook, private messages through Facebook,
Mhm.
emails.
So let's talk about that.
YouTube,
How much of your time
everything.
does that suck away? Like, I mean, I shouldn't say it so horribly,
So
but
how much time does it suck
does it
away?
suck away from your life? Social media is pulling
like
your
that,
life
it's like that
away.
machine on the Princess Bride. I've just sucked 50 years
I
out of
open
you.
my email and there's like 120 new emails that need an answer, and I'm just like, I need a coffee.
Yeah, you need to work
Right?
today, right?
Um,
Yeah.
I don't get to answer all of them. I just can't.
Right? It just can't, right?
Yeah,
And
but I try to answer a lot.
I always try to respond, and I feel so bad when I can't actually respond to
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Like on my Facebook, I can't go back and like everybody's comments.
Yeah.
There's just not enough time in the day
Mhm.
to do all the things.
Yep.
You need to hire someone to like
To go
do the
like-
likes.
Yeah,
But
right?
I
Yeah.
would never do that because how ungenuine is that? At least you
Yeah.
know I probably
Yep.
saw it, right? I just didn't hit the button.
Well, and I feel that it's more important to get product shipped on time and
Right.
quickly to people. So
You know, so yeah, I want to talk about that because I don't want people to think that we like ignore them, right? It's just you're busy.
yeah. And a lot of
And-
times for me and my wife, it's late at night.
Mm.
So she'll
Yeah.
sit there and read them to me.
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
yeah, and then I'll answer. She quick
That's
types
nice.
it. And so we move through
Business
them.
partner there.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
my wife does so much for the business.
I'm pretty sure my husband would throw
So
my
much.
phone at me if he had to read all this stuff.
Oh my, she does so much legal paperwork and accounting, and she works with our CPA, and yeah, she.
Okay,
is
so
just
we need
incredible.
to really thank his wife.
Yeah,
She's wonderful.
yes,
By
Shout out
the
to
way.
my tree.
yeah,
Yes, she's lovely. We
Let's
love
all
her.
give her a
yeah,
We do
yeah.
have a question.
Oh, a question.
Is Jason going to do a big kit at the end of the year?
A big kit.
You know, I get asked that question so many
Like
times.
several buildings.
What does that
in one
mean? A big kit?
A lot of manufacturers offer a big Christmas kit.
Oh,
And so-
like you're building a town or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's a very large kit, and it's usually limited edition. It's limited to I don't know,
That's a whole lot of
150,
buildings
200.
that you're only going to sell.
Yeah. And it's impressive. It's great. And I have a lot of those. I've bought a lot of those myself. I'm just not there yet. I haven't even made it to 1 year yet.
Yeah, maybe not
So-
this Christmas, but maybe some
Yeah,
other
yes,
Christmas.
Maybe
yeah.
if you
Yeah.
do one.
I will say that I am considering doing a limited edition kit that will be limited to 150. It won't be a really large kit like the big year-end kits that companies do. But it'll be a smaller kit, but it will be limited edition.
Like just a really cool building,
So
a really cool structure or something.
yeah, a cool structure with a lot of details, a lot of 3D printed parts in it.
Okay. So very custom.
but-
very...
150 of them, and that's it. So
So I'm gonna have to drive to his house.
Yeah.
Knock on his door. Jason, give me one right now.
Yeah, don't wait for the mail. It's such a hot commodity. It might not come. Believe me, I know about mail not coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You might be able to pick one up at the library.
Oh, there you go. Out on the library's cutters.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's great.
That's really cool though. That's neat. And collectible things are like I know that your kit number 1 will eventually be collectible, and I've got a signed one. Not that I will ever sell it either.
Yeah.
I'll never part with it.
There are people that buy 2 kits, one that they just keep and one that they build.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just noticed on our screen, luckily we have a screen turned around and I'm observant enough to see this, that our battery's down to about 5 minutes.
Oh, well, there we go. We're
wow.
at the end
We
of the
have a-
show today.
We have an easy out there. Are there any other questions on the feed there?
No.
The live feed?
All right.
Okay.
well, I want to thank both of you. I really, I appreciate it so much. I truly do. So
Well,
Oh, we're so thankful you came down.
I want to
Yeah,
thank
it's
you
so
for
fun.
coming down here because I
Sure.
thought it was going to be like, hey, man, you want to come? Oh, I'm busy.
No, you know how some people like give you energy? You're one of those people that every time I'm around you, it's just like exciting. Like we just
Cool.
have fun. Like,
Fangirled again.
Yeah.
like
This time it's my
no,
hair. It's that
totally
side of the
though.
table.
It's the side of the table.
Yeah.
No, it's serious though. Like whenever I'm around you, we're always laughing and having fun. And
Yeah,
we're talking about
yep.
stuff. We got big dreams. And we got
I think I told you, maybe I didn't tell you, but I'm going to tell you now. When we did Peter Miller's layout video,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure at first. I was like, am I going to like this guy? Because
Ah.
I don't know. People aren't always
Sure.
the same on their videos as they
Yeah.
are in person.
Yeah.
And I had such a great time that day, especially at the end when we were doing the bloopers. Oh, God. That was so funny.
I know. I got to laughing so hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the
So it's really nice to know that the Jason you see on the videos is Jason.
he's this guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
you. We're all just us.
Yep.
Yeah. No airs being put on here.
Well, it's great because we just all share the same passion
Right.
for this hobby.
just love it.
So, yeah.
So okay. Well, thanks
I
for
just like
watching.
cool people.
Huh? We should
Yeah.
close this out because now we're down to 4 minutes and
Yeah.
pretty soon it's just gonna cut off. So.
Yeah. So we're going to thank everybody for watching now. We'll probably go to the outside camera before I hit the little roll for the, the little music that I always forget to cue up. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Jason, for being here. Thanks, Michelle, for hosting this,
This is
in this
fun.
great place.
And I'll be here on Friday.
Yeah.
Right
we're
back
gonna-
here.
Meeting everyone.
So
gonna
watch
see you.
YouTube on Friday this week because a lot of people will be streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be streaming right here on this channel. So we'll probably pick up some of that action on Friday too. So yeah, cool. Everybody wave, I guess.
So
Thanks for
I-
watching.
Bye. Out of camera.
Let's go.